The .xyz community is made up of celebrated artists and creative outlets, acclaimed entertainers and designers, award-winning professionals and industry leaders, game-changing communities and organizations, and forward-thinking businesses discovering tomorrow's next big breakthroughs. The word is out, and the world is spoken. .xyz is the domain for the next generation. Build a winning online presence with a domain that knows no bounds. Join the revolution. Get your .xyz today.
The game has changed. Introducing Adalo. You don't need to code to create amazing apps. With advancements in design tools and development languages, we're entering a brave new world where you can drag and drop and make an app. This allows anyone the ability to turn their vision into real working software. With Adalo, creating no-code apps is simple. All you have to do is drag and drop in components like an image list, navigation bar, buttons, and text. Next, you create your database using simple spreadsheets built all in Adalo. After that, all you have to do is connect your design to your database. For example, choosing which data goes in this list. And then, voila, your app comes to life, a real native app built all by you. And the best part of all is that they're available on every platform, from the Apple App Store to Google Play to your own website. But simple doesn't mean it can't be powerful. With Adalo, you're in complete control of design, from shadows to text to borders and branding. We've taken the flexibility of modern design tools and put that into our platform so that you can make it how you want it. On top of that, we've added some pretty sweet features. You can add chat and trigger push notifications for just about anything. You can even set up advanced workflows like requesting and booking. So no matter what your process is, you can transform it into a simple user experience for everyone. You can even design apps for purchasing by adding custom formulas to calculate those pesky things like tax and tip, set up payments, subscriptions, save credit cards, ACH bank transfers, and more. But it doesn't stop there. You can connect your Adalo apps together so you can have different experiences for different users, trigger actions to happen in other apps, and even integrate directly with your own API. Finally, a simple way to build an app without code that's just as powerful as code. Turn your startup idea, your side hustle, or your client's dream into reality with Adalo.
My name is Doc Williams, and I'm a brand developer. So that encompasses a lot, but basically I help entrepreneurs create signature products for their brands, and then I help them through the whole process. So I've run a couple different businesses. So I started in fitness when I was 18. So I was a massage therapist, and then I was a physical therapist assistant, and then I opened my first gym at 23. And then from there, that was a CrossFit gym, and then I opened the biggest parkour gym on the East Coast. One of the American Ninja Warrior contestants lived like 30 minutes away from the gym, so he made that whole obstacle course for that. He trained for the show on the course, and then we got kind of semi-famous because of that, and then we had SWAT team train there, and then we started doing all that kind of stuff. From there, I started learning how to copyright and do things like that. And so later on, because I was writing and wanted to be in fitness, ended up working at ESPN. Other companies would be like, hey, you've worked for ESPN, can you write for us? It became, hey, we don't have a webmaster. They're like, can you, a webmaster, my God. So they'd be like, can you just run our whole page? So then I became like a senior editor, but I didn't know anything about WordPress. Between being on Sumo and then AppSumo, I just started building on that. People kept saying like, you did it over here. Can you do that for me? And I built out a couple people's brands, and then people just kept hearing about that. And I was like, let's just do an agency to try to productize all of the things that I was doing before. So what I do now is basically I help entrepreneurs that have trouble with their voice, and then I coach them through that process.
Did you upload Brand Factory?
Develop that voice and then build products so it actually fits their brand, and then go from there. So we try to hone their superpowers.
No, it's
so
not.
just kind of like X-Men or anything like that. Everyone has unique abilities, but a lot of times I think there's so much noise out there that they kind of miss how their business could be run. Because they're being reactionary. So I really try to listen to how they can impact their niche or their ecosystem, and then help them just basically be the person they need to be. The way I impact, either if I'm teaching them or building out a signature brand or product, that allows them to basically use that as a flagship to build whatever they want in their life, in anything. You know, I don't know what it is. I just like seeing how you can produce something, you can have a skill, and you can change people's lives. So, like, that's all business is. Someone sent me a message that said, Doc, I don't know how he's some internet wizard, but he got me X, Y, and Z. And they know that they have spent so much time and energy and effort and money monetarily that when it's like, oh no, this is what you need, it's just like, it changes the relationship with the client. My goal with the whole agency is all of that funding is going to be going into the project I'm passionate about, which is really helping entrepreneurs with disabilities, specifically dyslexia, how they can break into the industry. And by the way, I couldn't really speak until I was 5, and I couldn't read until I was 9. I have an idea, just like the superpower thing. I think being in this new economy, they need to have a superpower and have a portfolio to make a difference. So that's the whole format that I'm building to teach kids.
Wow. I was going to give an introduction to Doc, but I think that really sums up who he is really, really, really well. Welcome back to No Code Week Day 2. My name is Laurel Scott. I'm the co-founder and head of partnerships and platform here at StartupStarter.co. We'd like to welcome everybody back to another session during Day 2 of No Code Week. Just keep in mind, continue to go back to that event link to join all of the coming sessions. We have another session coming up later this afternoon, which will be Founder Stories with our very own Sina Mobasser, the COO and founder of Tapcart. Also, just to give everybody the rundown, we have made sure that we will be updating all of these videos into the community so that you will be able to watch them if you miss any of these. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome full stack brand developer Doc Williams as he shows us how to build out an app on Adalo live. So welcome him. What's going on, man?
Hey, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely excited. You'll be sharing your screen with us, so we're excited about that as well. And yeah, tell us a little bit about you. And we got a video of you in the beginning, but yeah, thank you for being on.
Yeah, no worries. So again, my name is Doc, and you saw the video, but really coming down to it, like in one sentence, I try to help you make money quickly using no code. So no matter what you're trying to do, I identify what you're trying to do, what you're passionate about, your idea or an existing business, and then let's just go make you some money real quick. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and really this is about helping you find a path in what you need to do. So I'm pulling this up in a second, and before we even decide to have me build anything out, what I want you to do, if you're watching this live or on the replay, I want you to take out a piece of paper and you're going to write out, what are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to build? And that's really important because it doesn't matter necessarily the tech that you're using. It helps. It really helps if you have the right tool. But what's most important is you having a clear idea of where you want to go. So even before we get into Adalo, and if you haven't watched Lacey's presentation about all the great things that Adalo can do, but in this session, what I'm really focused on is making sure you have clarity and you can move with purpose throughout the platform using Adalo. And you're definitely going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to create this, and I'll show you this in a moment. But what also I have is I'm showing you how you can turn your idea into reality. So I'm going to actually show you the workflow of what I do with every single client, and then how we actually do that. And you're going to see how fast it's going to be when we go into Adalo. It's going to be a guarantee. And to show you, to make sure that we're having the right mindset, or you're going to see how fast I can build, I always time myself live to show you that this is not just like kind of switch of a switch. No, like you're going to see it in real time how fast it can be. So
yeah, this is great, man. This is so great. And then also, I mean, you guys will have an opportunity to have your idea that you're writing down that paper, like he asked, built live next week. So make sure that you tune into the happy hour on Friday. Check the event calendar. Tune into the happy hour on Friday. You'll be able to submit your pitch idea, and he will help you start building it out next week live. He'll do 3 companies. So we'll look at you there. Take it away, Doc.
All right, good time. So we're going to go through just a few things, and then we're going to then switch over to Adalo, and then we're going to go with Q&As, or I'll build a little bit more. So the first section is we're going to be looking at making sure turning your idea into reality. We're going to go through this workflow, because then you're going to see how quickly you can move with purpose when you're then using Adalo. Okay. So the first thing is we've got to find out, turning your idea into reality. Do people need your product or service? Okay, that's the first thing. And this might, for a moment, it might feel like, man, these are really tough questions. It's important to get these things down, because we're going to be moving very quickly with purpose using Adalo. So it's important that we understand what's happening. So first of all, do people need your product or service? Can you explain it in less than 1 minute? Or, 1 minute. How about 1 sentence? Can you explain it like that? Because a minute, that's kind of long. People might lose track of what's going on. It's longer than an elevator pitch. Can you tell people what you can do in one sentence? For example, like I was saying at the beginning, there's a lot of things I've done, but I teach you how to make money with no-code tools quickly, right? 1 sentence, something very quickly. Okay, money. We're going to move fast. What are we using? We're using no-code tools. So what is your product or service that you want to create with no-code? The next part is you're going to either say like not sure, where you need to get more input, or you need to try it out and talk to more people. But if you say yes, the next phase that we're going to look at is, does it already exist? Now, this is really important, because a lot of times people will say, okay, well, I want to create the next Instagram or the next Facebook. That's okay. That's all right. But then you have to think to yourself, what is going to get someone to switch? Or what is it missing? So it's important to note, a lot of people, everyone right now, Clubhouse is huge. A lot of people say, well, I want to do a voice app. I want to do something like that. Okay, great. There's other voice apps as well, other platforms like Space and others. What makes you different? How can you make sure that you're standing out? So that comes into the next part. How can you make it better, or how can you stand out? Can you make it different? Now, if it doesn't exist, you can keep going on. If it does exist, make sure that you're understanding what makes you different. What makes you different? For example, you look at different features such as like Snap and how they had different filters, all those things. Okay, great. Then other platforms copy them. What still makes them different? Why do they still have a user base? Why do they keep gaining users? Now, not as fast. It depends on what quarter you're looking at, but why are there still people on that platform? You know, what's the difference between that, right? The next part is, once you find that out and you get details and you can really articulate what makes you different, now we can move on. The next part is, will people want it? Okay, this is something else. Okay, so a lot of people get very motivated. No code is very easy to start building, and that's great. It's great to experiment. But if you're trying to move with purpose and you're trying to create a startup or create an agency or some kind of micro SaaS, software as a service, you're going to have to keep this in mind. Will people want it? Okay. So if you say yes, you can keep going on. If you're not sure, listen and wait until someone says yes. Now, we call this the eyebrow test, but this is basically, you tell them the idea. If someone's not like, oh, wow, or if they're not making any reaction and they're just like in the middle, nothing, you need to you need to explain, you need to do more to get reaction. You need to get emotion, because if it's emotion, then they're going to be more apt to either have a strong emotion where they want to support you, or maybe even it's not even a bad idea to have a negative emotion, because you can either use it because it's polarizing, or that, wait, something went terribly wrong. I need to dial this back. I need to change it. So it depends. From there, you're going to be going into, do I want to do it? Now, this is interesting. A lot of times people will find differences in the market and they're like, I see the market, everything about the stock market. Let me do something in the stock market. If you don't really like the stock market, or you don't like that subject, it's going to be really hard for you to push through and to navigate through this world if you constantly do not like being in the industry or the type of service or product that you're creating. So it's really important to notice, okay, do I want to do this? Let's get started. If you don't, there's still a couple questions to be asked. If you're not sure, how easy is it for you to do? Now, if you're saying I can do this in my sleep, then there might be something to consider, because you can actually make this a product that can fuel all of your other projects. For example, if anyone knows what AWS is, that is American Online. No, it's not. It's Amazon Web Servers, AWS. That is a very profitable section of Amazon, what they offer. And because they have that one portion, now it does so much for their other business to take risks and do other things to change the world. The same thing with you. You might have a skill or a service that it might not light your soul on fire, but it could be the catalyst that allow you to have that bankroll, that runway to do so many other things. So it's important to notice what's the balancing act. Now, I will say it has to be shown, and we'll go to this last part, the ask. But if there's something that you can put on autopilot, it is so easy and it brings in money, that can still be a catalyst to the rest of your projects that you can do with no code. But if that's not the case, it's still hard for you to do, learning a new skill, something like that, you don't need to push it. The other section is, do you need to learn a new skill? The reason behind that is, if you are really happy and you want to do something with no code and you love AI, you love artificial intelligence, you have no idea how to begin, you have no idea what APIs are, you have no idea really what artificial intelligence is, it's possible to have that in your project. But to keep in mind too, is it artificial intelligence? Is it machine learning? Is it something else? Is it automation? So we're going down in that last part, simplifying the idea. Maybe the version 2.0 is using AI, but perhaps is that what you really need right now? The service that you're providing, can it be done with automation or other things and not AI? So remember, you're peeling back to see how fast you can act, how fast you can make that idea into a reality. The last part is, that's, again, if you're not sure if you're ready to do this. If you're saying, I want to do this, yes, I'm ready, you go for the ask. Now, what is the ask? The ask is getting to a point where you can show either a mock-up or get a buy-in from your audience and test if they're willing to pay for you, if they're willing to pay for the product, if they're willing to pay for the idea. That's what you're getting to. The ask is putting out the hand, give me that money. Is it there? Now, a lot of times throughout, if you do not work with purpose and go through this, a lot of people get great ideas. They ask their family and friends or their grandparents, and their grandparents are like, great, this was wonderful. You're such a genius. Go do that. You spent all those 9 months, 6 months, a year to develop that app, to develop that idea. You go to market. All the people that said that they love it, it was a great idea, go for it, they don't pay you. And you're like, what happened? That's because you weren't working with purpose in asking hard-hitting questions to make sure that when you go out the gate, when you have your project, it's going to have a higher chance of a success. And going through this workflow, going through this section, it allows you to now move with purpose when we use things like Adalo. Okay, so when we're going through this, either in the chat or I'm just going to be going through this as an example, but I'm going to show you a lot of times how you can be effective using this platform. Okay, so I'm going to sign out and I'm going to go from start to finish and see how fast we can move with this platform and really see what can be done. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Now, again, I'm going to start the timer, tell you about the platform, tell you about a case study, and see how fast we can build. Okay, let's see if we can do this. All right, I'm being shown here. Okay. And just to let you know before we start, if you have not heard of Adalo, Adalo is a platform where you can create apps very quickly using no code. Okay, so when you're using this, this is going to be a visual builder where you can build very quickly what you're trying to do. Now, we're going to start with a timer. We're going to go through this, and then we're going to get feedback and go from there and based on the audience. So we're going to start our timer, and I'm going to go. All right. So the first thing is when I'm in Adalo, there's so much that you could be doing, so many things, where to start. This is what we're going to do. First, I'm going to go into templates. Why am I going to go into templates? Because this allows me to build quicker with purpose, and I have a lot of the elements there already. Now, here with the templates, we can have most popular, recently add, business apps, all of those things. But what I do is usually when I'm hearing someone's idea, I try to first figure out what do I want to build and build quickly. For example, if someone says, I want to do something with a food app, okay, I might start with something like ordering. If I want to do something closer to Facebook or something with messaging, I'm there. If I want to do e-commerce, there we go. If I want to do a directory, I go on and on. So let's say, for instance, I have a coach that comes to me and they say, well, I want to have my own course. I want to do all of these things. I'm a motivational coach. I want to have them do check-ins, all of these things. Great. I have already a coaching app. I have all of these things done already. Or I could say, hey, I want to create a social network. I'm just getting started. I want to know what's going on. Great. I have a Facebook clone right here or something like that. All right. So now I know. Right there, it took us about 1:15 to decide what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to just log in for a second, and you'll probably see in one of my other apps. So what I'm going to do is start from scratch right here. So I'm right here getting started, and I can decide, do I want it to be a native mobile app or do I want it as a desktop web app? I'm going to go with mobile, okay? And then here, I can say right here, I can start with blank, or I can start with one of these different templates. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the coaching template. We talked about maybe that would be the right thing to start with. Okay. I do that. I'm going to say beta coaching app. Yep. What I'm going to do is my primary colors. I like that, but I want it to be just a little bit darker. Yeah. Secondary, I like that. I'm going to make this just a bit darker. Okay, so now I have my main colors. I've already got it done. I've got my main, primary, and secondary. Okay, I'm going to click create. All right, it's going to take a few moments. And what it's doing is now it's mapping out a clone of what I just saw with the coaching app. But not only that, it's going to give me all the workflow of what I need to do to create an app. So I don't have to think about how am I going to make this a sign up? How am I going to do all those things? Bam. And so right here, I'm already seeing the sequence of what I need for this app. Now, what do we do? Timer, 2 minutes, 54 seconds. Okay. And that's no joke. That was real time. You just saw it. Now, some might say, Doc, wait a minute. You didn't finish the whole app. You didn't do all those things. Well, I'll put it this way. This is about 90% done right off the cuff. So now what needs to happen is going and customizing. Now I can start the timer again. I'm going to take a picture because basic setup, we got 2:54. Let's move on just a little bit. Okay, now I'm right here on the left-hand side of the dashboard. We have branding, then we have screens, then we have database, settings, publish, and then we have analytics. Okay, so right here, this is where I normally go first, so I get my bearings. This allows me to understand, okay, overall, globally, what am I going to do? I can pick my fonts, I can do all those things. I'm fine with the fonts right here. I'm good to go, okay? But say, for instance, it's kind of small. I can't really see what's going on. Okay, now I have my preview window right here. And this allows me to see my experience. I can now, and look at this, they already have the login screen for me to either create and have the progression as a client or a coach. So all of the progression of I've got to do all these sequences, it's already done for you. Everything's worked through already. Also, too, if I'm thinking about something that needs two different sign-ins, one as a coach or one as a admin, one as a influencer or something like that, now I have it, right? So I'm thinking about in my mind, maybe this isn't the right app or I'm not a coach, but what could I use with the templates that already have the workflow that allows me not to have to reinvent the wheel? I can use something like this. Now on the right hand side, I already have different formats of how it is going to be optimized for the exact phone I'm going to be using. I can go through iPhone right here. I can say Pixel 4, doesn't matter. It optimizes and it looks great on all of these different types of devices. Now, remember, keep in mind, before I got started, I asked, or I was being prompted, do I want to create a mobile app or do I want to have something on desktop, right? So it's two different things. Depending on what you're trying to do or what you want to accomplish, that's going to matter. That's going to be important. So again, it's all right if you're saying, wait a minute, I maybe I need to go back to desktop. You saw how fast it took. It took less than 3 minutes. You can start over. You can go from there. Not a big deal. Now, once we have the branding and everything like that, I'm going to go to screens. The reason I'm going to go to screens here is making sure that I understand what's happening. This allows me to understand all of the different screens. Now, if you look at this for a second, I'm scrolling over different ones and you see how it's highlighting. So now if I'm saying activities, I need something with activities or activities details, I can click that. And now I have more control over that section. I can now change all of those details to make sure that I get the exact details that I need or the things changed. I have the components of the page that I select based on the screen. I also have the actions. Now, right here, when a user visits this page, you can actually add actions right here. I can add actions. Now, remember, I can create an action. I can do notification. I can do different triggers. I can do all of these things, but it makes it really easy for me to progress through and understand if they do what, if they end up on this page, I want this to happen. So if I'm a little bit confused or I'm saying, I don't know if I'm able to do this, I'm not sure if I'm skilled enough, no worries. Take it basic. Write down your ideas. Write down what do you want to happen. Write it down, and then either check what action, check what you can do, or listen, you've also got the getting started, you have the resource section, and you can look at tutorials. Tons of things are possible, but what's really important is you not feeling overwhelmed, but you working with purpose. So write down what kind of actions you need to happen when you're on that page. The other thing that you need to consider is why do you want that action to occur? Okay, so it's more than just, hey, this would be a great feature. I'd love that. For example, if you're saying, well, this is a great app, but what would be really great is if I could take pictures and it became like a TikTok and then put it back in that. Okay, well, that's great. Yeah, more power to you. It could work, but why does that matter? Why do you need that right now? Again, this is keeping you really focused to working on the problem. What are you trying to solve? What are you trying to move towards to be effective with your project in no code? Okay, so we have the action right here. The next part is available data. Now, this is really important because now this allows me to see, okay, what's going on? What association do I need to have right here? Now, if you look at this right here, it says current assignment, missing from activities, current activity. Oh, very nice, right? But then I can have manually added. So here I can manually add certain things if necessary. Again, this is really important. Once you're going through the workflow, once you're testing it, what do you want to happen? What do you need to happen? Is there a difference? Now, down here, there's a clear difference right here when I'm seeing admin client list, admin resources. We have all of those things, right? So we have that section that is going to be for admins. Down below, you're going to be having the client sign up. You're going to have coach sign up, all of those things. So again, we're looking at how is it structured. Now, if you're looking at this, let me see if I can zoom in. Right? So when I'm zooming in, you see these branches and all of these things are happening, almost like those webs when you see it's highlighting. It's already building in the workflow in that logical development as you're going through different things, which is a huge help. You don't have to go and program or build out all of those things. A lot of these things are really helpful and get you to where you want to go very quickly. So what I would suggest is working with a template, going through this. These are best practices. They've already built out the progression of what you're going to be doing for your app, what you need. It's really important for you to now take advantage and leverage all of the hard work that the team at Adalo has already done to make this a clonable template, but now you can build out from here. In fact, with a lot of our clients, and students, what we're doing is we're using a template to get started, sometimes just the login in the client and admin section, and then we're building out other things to go along with that. Now, once we have that, let me zoom out. Good times. Now we have that. Now I can get a bird's eye view and I understand what's going on. What I like about this template, it's already given me the progression of the welcomes screen, signing up, and then going into the rest of the app. And I would suggest you do the same exact thing. You would start on the left-hand side, and then you're going across as you're building to make sure that you're being effective and it's progressive. Some people do build vertically and just go straight down. But a lot of times, because there's so many options, going across allows you to build that out with a spider web and build it out with purpose. So it's something to keep in mind. Now, the next part, and again, any questions, let me know in the chat, all of those things. We're going to have a section at the end where I'm going to be answering a lot of the Q&A and things like that. But make sure if there's anything, if I'm going too fast or something like that, please let me know. So we went through the branding, we went through the screens. Now we're going to go to the database. Okay, now this is something to keep in mind. This is all based on relationships. So a lot of times when you're starting, if you're not familiar with databases and what it does, I view databases as buckets of information. And the buckets, you're going to decide what relationship the different buckets have with each other. Okay, so just like as you see here, users, activities, activity categories, assignments, activity tasks, notes. So you're going to want to have a user and then have a record of what activity they've done, right? So you're a coach. You want to have a certain relationship with that data collection. So when you're having this, they're going to have a lot of best of practices for the databases that they have in Adalo. But keep in mind, you're going to always have a relationship with it. It's not going to be just a standalone, something like this. So I'm going to just create one real quick. Beta add. Okay. So when you're looking at this for a second, hold on. Okay, there we go. So right here, there'll be a couple different things if I add into the database, right? So I can go view the records, edit the name, API documentation. And right here, it's saying interested in trying our app collections API. So this allows you to get really detailed of what's happening right here. Now, if you're saying, wait a minute, Doc, like you're going down this way, APIs, what's going on with this thing? Simply put, an API is allowing you to grab information from a different source and bring it in. So you're allowed to call it. So if you've used Google or anything like that, there's nothing to worry about. We're going to show you how simple APIs are. I'm going to say, what is a API, right? So I'm Googling right here. Now, if you look right here in this bar at the top, let me right here, and you'll see that it says I'm calling something, right? So I'm saying www.google/ and it says search question mark Q equals what plus is plus a plus, and it goes on from there. That is exactly like the API call. Okay, now there's some more details to it, but keep in mind, you have seen something where you're calling for a result, and now you're getting that back. Now, if you're saying, wait, Doc, like, why is this crazy? I have a lot of different Google Chrome plugins. That's from something called Trendly. So it tracks using Google Trends, and it's telling me what's happening over that search volume, and that's why you see something crazy. Nothing is crazy. My computer is not crashing. It's just something that I'm using. Okay. So now you see the power of what Adalo can do. You can do something very basic in the database right here, Or if I need to do something with an external API call, or I want to do something else with a database, I can start using external data sources and bring it into my app. There are some people that bring Bubble into Adalo. There's some people that use backend lists, and the list goes on and on. You can be bringing that in to Adalo. Now, for more information, what databases to use, what you can be doing to integrate with Adalo, make sure that you go to the official documentation from Adalo in the documentation section, or reach out to the team, or put it in the form section for Adalo for the questions, and they'll reach out to you. Or Lacey was just on. You can talk to Lacey as well. So there's so many different things. I don't want you to get too caught up, but I want to show you the expansion of what's possible with Adalo, from something that's already set up to something very detailed where you need to have a lot more power and have a different database. Okay, so we also have the section where we're talking about settings. We can have where we're having the app name, the short description, the app icon right there. So when we submit, we'll have the display settings, the app access, all of those things right here in our settings section. We'll be ready when we're ready to publish. And then also we'll have a tab right here that allows us to see how is our app performing? What's going on? Where do we need to do this? We have all of that right here on the setup. Now, that's the basics of what we have on the left-hand side. Now, if you're saying, well, Doc, that sounds great, but what if I want to make changes? It's important that you understand the structure first before you just start adding things. That is the progression of what's going on here. You just click this plus button, and now we are able to create components where we can drag and drop, put things in, and it's very similar to building a website. If you used anything like Elementor or things like that, we can use everything all the way down here: navigation, list, buttons, symbols, simple. Let's drop there, text, all those things, very simple things that we want done. Or we can also have different components that we can have from the marketplace as well. Now, here we have different components like a map, calendar, image slider, multi-select dropdown, Google sign-in, star ratings, adding embed for YouTube, progress bar. We can have a Stripe kit so you can start making payments, deck swiper, switch, player, chart kit. The list goes on and on. I'm not going to go through all this, but what's really important is you can have so much from this marketplace that allows you to take your app to the next level without you needing to think about, coding it or anything like that. We got all that right here. Now, they're always adding new things to Adalo, so watch out for the new updates and everything that they put out every couple of weeks, but it's growing, and they listen to their audience of what you're looking for. Now, before you go into the Explorer Marketplace, remember, I'm really big on this. Make sure that you're working with purpose and you're deciding what's good for you to validate, to make money, to get to that first version before you go buck wild and start adding all these other components that you're not validating how people are going to receive it. Or if you do add it, how much more satisfactory experience do you add? Does it make it clearer, or does it make it harder to use? Now, before we add, in this one principle, we'll talk about, adding things, but just keep in mind, we can add buttons or different components, and we can add full screens right here that are really easy to use based on right here. So for me, I usually start with the screen and then I add things. That's just how I am. I usually go from a template, then just something blank, because then I start just going all over the place. They've already got the best components, the relationship, how they are. I start there. Now, keep in mind real quick, if I'm right here, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Okay, this is important because this is important if you're new to app building and you're thinking about how should my screen be, the components and all of those things. It's something to keep in mind when you're looking at the bottom of the screen. Now, do you see where it says assignments, notes, resources, profile? Now, it's pretty interesting. What I would ask you to do is look at some of your favorite apps. Just open the app and look at what they're doing. For the most part, they usually have a centralized button in the middle, right where your thumb's going to be, right? So when you click, there's going to be something there. Now, why is that? For the most part, if you're getting an app design and they're having you have buttons at the bottom, 4, 3, whatever it is, usually the buttons in the middle are going to be something that is going to be a little bit easier to use, or what the functionality that they want you to do a lot of the time, because naturally your thumb is going to be closer to the middle section. So they want to do those actions first. Then the ones on the sides, or when you're moving your thumb, those are going to be extra actions that they want you to do, but perhaps again, they're secondary, or there's a reason why they're moving it into different different sections. For example, if you're looking at Twitter, you're going to see right there the search is right there in the middle, and then also notifications. Makes sense. They most likely want you to move to notifications and search. And again, it's a lot of times people are using Twitter in real time, or things that they're trying to be a part of the conversation, what's happening at the moment. So they want you to know what's happening. They want you to engage that way. If you look at it across your body, or across where your thumb is, across the palm, you've got to hit where you're making a tweet, right? So it's a little bit different. The same thing is, look at Instagram or anything else you want to use. For the most part, you're going to have different objects at the bottom based on what kind of actions you want first. The reason I bring that up is, as you're creating your app, if there's something that you're like, I don't know where to put it at the bottom, just think about what is the most important featured app, what do you want the person to be triggered to do? You're going to have where the thumb sits or lays down the easiest, which is usually the middle. So think about, that's just something to keep in mind, just the components of how you're doing that. Now, again, there are some apps that deviate from that system of doing it, but there's a reason why they're doing it. Either they're doing it on purpose to be different, or they're using data from what their audience has said, and they've made personal changes based on the app of how they're going to be guiding the approach as they go through it. So that's important also, just to let you know, as you don't have to necessarily keep exactly the same style of whatever app or template you use, but there is data behind it, why they're doing certain things. The onboarding is standard in a lot of apps because they understand that most users are used to those things. Now, again, some apps are different, but they're doing it either to break out of the norm, or keep in mind, it's really important for them to show why you are doing a different action with your hands. Okay, so we now have gone through that section, the components, the ad screens. We've gone through everything on the left-hand side, the branding, screens, database, settings, publish, analytics. The other side, make sure we have it for previewing, and then we can also share all of those things. In the middle, what I like, even if you're just getting started with this, to create different apps and trying them out. Maybe they're different industries, different genres. Excuse me. What's really nice about Adalo, you can start for free, and to get your feet wet, to really start building different apps very, very quickly to see what's going on. And this allows you to be effective, to see perhaps you're not even going to publish this. Perhaps you're going to be giving a preview, and you're recording the preview to show your target audience. Now, I've shown tons of previews, and I am just going to crop this and show them and walk them through it and send videos. Tons of people think the apps are done. I'm not saying you don't tell them the app's done, but you see how quickly this is from this to publish. A lot of these things are done. So instead of me necessarily having to sign up for a developer account, if I'm like, I got to change all these things, I'm not sure how people are going to approach it. You have 90% plus done right here. Take the time to go through the workflow, see what's going to happen, and then also test it out and tell your target audience, this is what I built. What do you think about it? What is it missing? What's going on? And now you can move with purpose. If I'll show you right now. So if I'm in preview and I'm saying, hey, I'm a life coach. I'm thinking about having my own app. The first thing is, if my client says why do you need your own app? Or why do I need to be your client? What makes you a great, a life coach? Well, I'm a life coach, but I'm really focused on helping you to get to the point in your life where you're out of college, you don't have a job, and you're thinking about what you're going to do next. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of things that you're just waking up panicked all the time. Is that what you're dealing with? Oh my God, yes, I'm dealing with that for the last year and a half, the pandemic, Well, this is what the app does. I do group coaching, but group coaching when I use Zoom, but this app allows me to track your progress, and it allows you to have the coping mechanisms to move one day at a time with purpose, and allows you to now make the right moves to find that job that you're looking for, find the right support system, and for you to get out there and to feel great with your life. Is that something you're interested in? Oh my God, that's exactly what I'm looking for. What does it look like? Well, I've got this quick video to walk you through what the app is going to be like. Do you have time? Yeah, I got a couple minutes. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. First, you're going to create a client account. Well, how do I create a client account? Well, you're going to, log in, have some stuff right here. I'm not sure. Have you ever created another account before like this on Facebook or something? Yeah, I've done that before. Okay. So it's just like that. You're going to sign up. You're going to sign in. Okay. Signing up. All right. That's fine. And then you see right here, you're creating with the profile picture. And I want you, it's not going to be every profile picture. What I want you to do is pick a profile picture that you want to be as an example for you. I want this to be a action pose. I know that's a little bit different. You're used to, different profiles, just from the shoulder. I want you to be in an action pose. What in the world is an action pose? I want your hands on your hips. I want you to be I just want you to be fierce. I want you to show that you have power and that you're motivating. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that kind of picture. Okay, well, that's by the end of that, by week 2, you're going to change your picture. All right, that's fine, whatever. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to put in your number. You're going to complete the sign up. Oh, you got to use a picture? Okay, all right, fine. Do you have your picture right there? Well, I don't really know. All right, so we're just going to add any kind of picture. Let's go here. What is going on here? Well, I'm just going to use the timer. That's the only thing on my on my desktop. Okay, complete. All right. We can change that later. It's all right there. All right, right here. This is the beginning. You see right here, it's blank for right now. That's okay. But you see at the bottom, you have assignments. You can have notes, see how you're feeling, all of those things. I want you to write in your notes. That's what you're going to be doing on day 1. And then from there, I have all these resources for you to feel good. And then I'm going to be sending you a notification every single morning after you finish each of your assignments. Wow, that's amazing. Are you interested in that kind of app? Is that something that would really help you with your life? Yes, absolutely. Well, this group coaching plan, the app is actually free when you start having group coaching plan. The group coaching, each month it's $349. And what you get is not only this app, but you're also going to be getting a link to our group coaching. It's on Zoom. It's every last Thursday of every month. And then from there, we're going to review your goals, make sure that you network, you find the people that are interested in the same things. And also, there's an intake form before you get started so we know what industry you're in. Sound great? Oh, that sounds wonderful. Oh my goodness. Well, that's what I would like to do. Now, I just did all that to preview that that's how you walk through without pressing the publish button, and you just validated what people wanted. You just found out if they identify with what you're trying to sell, and you did that all without spending $1. Now you can go out and publish, do all of these things, make sure that they commit, sign up, do all of these things. Then you can make this live. Then you start making money. Then you start moving with purpose. Questions? And I got 10 minutes left for questions. This is great. Let's see about this. Let's see if I got anything. Okay. So there's a couple different things to consider as well. If there's some questions talking about, okay, well, you've been doing this for a long time. How can I get started? Okay. Really good. Really good. The first thing I would do is if I'm still not sure and this looks daunting, I wouldn't even open the app yet. What I would do is I would clearly take out the turn your idea into a reality, and I'll make sure that everyone gets a copy if they want this. And you walk yourself through this before you even get into Adalo. We said this at the beginning, but this is really important. This can move so much quicker. Now, I just gave that example being a life coach or something like that. You can do the same exact thing. It doesn't matter if it's a life coach or anything like this. It's the same exact format. I'm first finding my audience. And you know what? I'll write this down. I'll do this real quick so you can see what's going on. Oh, by the way, this is good. The flow chart, this is inspired by Code It, Create It, Idea and Inspiration for Coding by Sarah Hutt. Great, great book. I love it. It's actually built, it's made for young women to encourage them to start coding. I thought this was brilliant. It's a really good idea. It's a different kind of workflow, but I just loved how it was. And so I want to make sure that if you're looking for the full publication or it's something that you're like, wait a minute, I've seen it, I want to mention that as well. So I want you to take a few moments. I'm just taking this right here. If you're thinking about, well, I can't do this right now, where do I start? Let's take this real quick. If you're about to use Adalo, this is too much. This is what we need to do. First of all, we need to write down, what are you solving? Okay, what are we solving right here? Okay, that's great. That's great. Now, when we're saying, what are we solving? Now we're saying, who are we solving this for? Okay, this is great. Now this allows us to have a clear measuring stick of what's going on. Where do we need to begin? Now, if you're still confused right here, you're like, well, I'm not really sure. I would say, first of all, are you going from a place of your own passion or need? For example, if I'm passionate and I see something that needs to be changed, am I working from that state, or am I scratching my own itch? Am I going and thinking about something? I'm like, oh my goodness, like I need this personally. I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, I was just working on an app to help. I need something with my analytics with YouTube. So I'm going to say YouTube analytics. Okay, what do I need to, what about, I need it to be easier to pull 4 KPIs and metrics from my YouTube studio analytics. I'm picking this because this is a real need of mine. Okay, I just had a meeting about this. Okay, who are you solving this for? I'm saying me. Okay. And now I can say it myself first, but also there's tons of YouTubers that are having the same exact problem because there's something very specific that I need. So I can say me, but the next layer is fellow YouTubers focused on specific analytics. Now you might say, wait a minute, you're doing a lot of this. I don't even know how this creates or goes to Adalo. We'll see in a moment. Okay, so we have this. Who am I solving it for? Okay, that's great. Okay, the next part I might say is, what does success look like? This can be, what does success look like, or what does the end result, what does it look like? My end result is I have automatic stats from my last 28 days and 90 days of videos. And I'm going to be measuring click-through rate. I'm going to be measuring probably average video duration, and then average video percentage viewed. So yeah, so I'm looking at AVP, I'm looking at AVD, CTR, and then I might look at view count, something like that, right? So now I have this. Now, why is this so important? If I wanted an app in Adalo, let's talk about being really, really focused. Right here, now I know, okay, I want to bring in these stats. What will I need to bring into the stats if I'm going to use Adalo? I need to find my stats, find stats from YouTube. Do I know if I can get my own stats? I might need to look up how to get YouTube analytics into an app. Now, remember I was like, hey, what about that API thing? What about a database? Because this sounds like data. I need data. So what do I need to do? I need to look up, is there a YouTube API? Is there a YouTube analytics API available? Right here. API reference right here. So this now I know, okay, I can go into the developer section of YouTube. I can do this and find my data over here and somehow bring it in. Now, again, I'm not saying that you know all the steps how to do it yet, but you see the logical development of, I'm literally trying to solve a problem, and now I'm progressing what I need to do in order to now bring it into an app. You're going through this, and you're doing this for whatever problem you have. This is either your own problem, and that's how you would progress and see what you would need into your app, or if it's someone else's problem, you go through the same thing. What are you solving for? Who are you solving it for? What does success look like? That gives you a great start. Then you can walk through, turn your idea into reality, and you're good to go. But it starts with going one step at a time. One step to look through this. What do you need to do? How can you move with purpose? And before you know it, you're going to have your first version using an app. Now, we went through all this. This was 32 minutes all the way through. You saw the first time just to get that first section done. We did it in less than 3 minutes. In this session alone, we went over just about 30 minutes of just going through this progression, and look how far you have gotten. You have now understood and feel confident to get started with Adalo. And guess what? You can start with it free. I'm not even getting paid by them, by the way. I'm just saying this. I look for great platforms that are free to get started. It's great. So now you can start using your ideas, move with purpose, and now test these things out. And then you're finding your target audience that cares about the problem, and then you're moving with purpose. Done.
Man, moving with purpose, right? This is great. Look how quickly he built out an app live. Like, this is crazy. And the cool thing about it is people will be able to see you build out other products live all the way through both weeks of No Code Week. So everybody stay tuned. Doc, you have been amazing. Thank you very much. Doc has done so much work and helped me put this together, guys. So I definitely give him a round of applause there. Continue to check back on the event page. We have coming up Founder Stories with Sina Mobasser from Tapcart. He has an amazing story, so make sure you tune into that. Also, inside of the community, make sure that you are introducing yourself into the event feed and going back to that event feed as we promote all the different events that are going on. Also, there is a product tab that you can actually go into and click on and see all the products and the promotions that are active for No Code Week and promotions that we'll have going on as well as a member of StartupStarter. What you'll need to do to redeem that is you will need to create a free profile on StartupStarter.co. That is below to take advantage of that Adalo 50% for 2 months off. So make sure you create your profile. Again, it is a free profile for you to create. So many great things going on. Any questions you guys have, you guys will also be able to reach Doc inside of StartupStarter as well. He has his own profile and Brand Factory has their own profile. So check it out. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have more to show you for No Code Week Day 2. Doc, my man, appreciate it. I'll see you again soon.
All right, take care. See everyone later.
Later.
This is Jane. Jane's got an online store and she's doing pretty good.
Crushing it.
But like every store owner, Jane wants an app.
I want an app.
You need an app.
I can't build an app.
But she could. With Tapcart, she was able to design and launch the perfect app for her brand without having to deal with her developer. Now Jane can spend more time on the things she loves, being creative, connecting with her customers, and collecting sweaters for her dog, Sadie. Hey, Sadie.
Watch this.
Tapcart enables Jane to send these interactive push notifications directly to her customers, getting them back in the app and making purchases. Back on top. So what's next?
Flash sale.
Updating her app is a breeze. Add new blocks, feature a sale, share new content from anywhere. Plus, Tapcart keeps her app up to date with the latest technology. So no more dealing with this guy. This is the future, Jane.
Yep, I'm the future.
Your brand, your products, your app. Tapcart.